Derrick Groves?
Yeah, he's right here.
If you could come up, sir. I'm right here. Have a seat, if you don't mind. Good morning.
One or the green.
So, sir, I'm Judge Wolf. This is your extradition. I'm going to go over your rights so you can decide whether you want to waive extradition or not. You're wanted out of the state of Louisiana for aggravated escape. I'm going to explain to you first what happens if you decide to have an extradition hearing, then what will happen if you decide not to have one. So you have the right to an extradition hearing if you choose. You have the right to hire an attorney to prepare for and conduct that hearing. If that's your choice, I will postpone the hearing for a reasonable time, 60 to 90 days, for you to obtain counsel. The law does not give you the right to a public defender or appointed attorney for purposes of extradition. If you choose to have the hearing, I will reset your case 60 to 90 days to allow your attorney to prepare for the hearing. At the hearing, there will be three issues. Are you the person named in the warrant? Did the governor of Louisiana sign the warrant? And what you're charged with in Louisiana, is that a crime in that state? I cannot consider your guilt, innocence, the merits of the case, or evidence connected with the underlying case. If after the hearing I determine that the requesting state, Louisiana, has met its burden of showing those three things, then they would have approximately 15 business days to pick you up. If they don't, then you'd be brought back before me and I would consider releasing you. If after the hearing I were to find that Louisiana failed to prove those three things, then you would be released. You also have the right to waive or not have that extradition hearing if you choose. If you waive your hearing, then Louisiana has approximately 15 business days from today to come get you. If they don't, then you'd be brought back before me and I would consider releasing you. However, you may be held up to 30 days before being released. Regardless whether you're released in Georgia, you are subject to arrest again at any time as long as this Louisiana warrant remains active. So even if you are released, you may wish to consider returning to Louisiana to have the matter resolved. Also, the media is here. I want to let you know they filed the appropriate paperwork. It's called Rule 11, and that was signed by one of our judges, our chief judge, and so they are here as well. You also have the right to remain silent. So let me just ask, though, do you have any questions about your extradition rights? No. And do you want to challenge extradition, or do you want to return to Louisiana?
I want to return where I'm from.
You want to go back to Louisiana?
Yeah.
Okay. So I do find you freely, voluntarily, and knowingly are waiving your extradition rights. I'm going to sign the paperwork, and that's all we're going to do here today. Thank you, sir.
I live up the street, and first one of my neighbors came down and they turned them around and said there's SWAT and all that down here, so I had to come see what was going on.
What did you hear? Did you hear anything?
Oh, yeah, I was standing up there right by the bushes, and I had some binoculars, and I was looking to see what was going on, and they had 3 or 4 SWAT trucks up here, and then they lowered the arm down, went through the garage door, it looked like, and then there were flashbangs and all that.
What was going through your head when you hearing all that?
It don't bother me that much. It's just, I do demolition construction, so noise don't bother me.
You're used to hearing loud noise.
Yeah. So.
Multi-agency task force expects more arrests tied to Derrick Groves' escape.
Andres Fuentes has details about a local tip that led to today's arrest.
After nearly 5 months on the run, escaped inmate Derrick Groves is in police custody once again. The local, state, and national team tasked to find Groves spoke out hours after his arrest.
It just signifies cooperation, and more importantly, that you're going to get tired, but we're not.
The team credits a Crime Stoppers tip that was made anonymously earlier this month. It happened after the New Orleans Police Department listed Groves, a 4-time convicted killer, as one of the department's most wanted criminals.
We say all the time, we're not interested in your name, we just want your information, and someone came forward, and that helped us.
Detectives obtained digital evidence that Derrick Groves was at a residence in Atlanta.
Atlanta police and the U.S. Marshals tracked Groves to a home on Honeysuckle Lane in Atlanta. They tried to use tear gas to smoke him out, but eventually moved into the home and found him burrowed in a narrow crawl space. They removed Groves with no incident and no injuries to police, but investigators found a firearm and 15 pounds of marijuana in the home. Officials couldn't say just how long Groves was at the house, but they do say he wasn't alone.
All I know is I had the reports to me from law enforcement in Georgia were that there were other individuals in the house. Clearly somebody was helping him. I think there were multiple somebodies helping him.
The task force says while leads to Groves' whereabouts died down in the weeks after the jailbreak, the community tips never truly stopped. But following up on those leads was a difficult and timely process.
You know, of course, many of y'all in the room were wanting to know how long ago or why didn't we get him. Well, it's not that simple. They were always just a little one step ahead. As people move to different states and different cities and different dwellings.
Among the crimes Groves is tied to is a double murder on Mardi Gras Day back in 2018. Groves pleaded guilty to gunning down 2 men and injuring others after shooting into a house on St. Claude Avenue. District Attorney Jason Williams says with Groves back in custody, his victims can rest easy again.
The children in this family who play sports in that park in the Lower Ninth Ward have not been able to go out there during all of this time. Their lives have been shut down out of fear because they didn't know where this man was.
Andres, are they saying anything about how much this cost?
Right. You know, Attorney General Liz Merrill said that as of right now, you know, they are trying to compile a full list of all the expenses from this investigation. But what she can say is toward the beginning, when all of the inmates had escaped, at one point it cost $1 million a day just for the teams, the equipment, and then using that, of course, all throughout the day, all throughout the region.
A day?
A day, $1 million a day. And then it trickled down, started to decline as more and more inmates were caught. But again, you know, she's saying that this was a very big burden for taxpayers and a lot of expenses used towards law enforcement to finally track down all 10 inmates.
All right. Thank you, Andres. In southwest Atlanta, it was surrounded by multiple law enforcement agencies as they tried to figure out whether or not Groves was actually inside of that home. We don't know what led police to that location. We don't know how long they've been keeping an eye on that situation. But if you'll remember, what you're seeing on your screen right now is when those 10 inmates escaped out of Orleans Justice Center. We do have some new video that we're going to show you in just a moment of the location in Atlanta, the house in the southwest part of town where Derrick Groves apparently was holed up. We don't know for how long. We don't know how